player, helped the Spurs win the title in 1999. Avery, take me through that final possession for the Knicks. You see Jalen Brunson drive in and just the defense closes every option out, and then it's a turnover and a game ender for the Knicks.
Well, everyone in the global world knew that the play was going to be ran for Jalen Brunson. And the Knicks didn't have any type of counters, decoys, and give the Atlanta Hawks credit. They knew exactly where the ball was going. Initially, they tried to run what we call a rub screen to get the ball to Brunson, to get him a free catch, to isolate him in the middle of the floor. But give Atlanta credit. They got their best defender, Tyson, back into the game to deny him the basketball. He had to work a little bit harder, Tyson Daniels, and then they got the switch, double team, which was smart. My wife actually called that. She said, double team Jalen Brunson. They did. He turned the ball over. Poor execution, poor spacing. They turned the ball over, didn't even get a shot at the basket. That was one that I know Mike Brown and the New York Knicks wish they can have back.
Cassandra is a certified ball knower. I know that. You know that as well. Shouts to her as well here because, man, what the Hawks did on this night, you want to talk about the effort from Jalen Johnson and then C.J. McCollum, the veteran, because, look, the Knicks were making extra chance points, points to the paint, fast break points. Wasn't a super clean basketball game, some turnovers here and there late, but talk about the effort of Jalen Johnson there in the end, and then C.J. McCollum, the veteran, coming up clutch on that jumper.
Jalen Johnson, you're right, and CJ, nice play, cute little, what we call an ear play. It's a little rub screen off the elbow. The ear means it's flat on the baseline. You spread your shooters out. He made that play. It was great. But also Jonathan Kuminga, off the bench. He was special tonight. I'm so happy for that kid, for everything that he went through with Golden State. Jonathan Kuminga was terrific. The acceleration and transition, one-on-one shots at the end of the shot clock. OG Anunoby made some plays for New York, but C.J. McCollum was special. You see what Atlanta's doing. Everywhere Jalen Brunson is on the floor, they're seeking him out. Middle of the floor, that's called horns up, bad defender. You find the bad defender, you hope he switches on you, but even if he doesn't switch on you, he's gonna miscalculate his steps, do something to put the defense in a compromised position. Atlanta's clicking on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, C.J. McCollum, the veteran, with 81 points through the first 3 games of this series. That's the second most in Hawks playoff history behind only Trae Young. Look, C.J. McCollum's great. And this team, look, people may be writing this team off, right? Because some of the guys on this Atlanta Hawks squad are kind of, forgotten about, right? But when you talk about Jonathan Kuminga, 21 points off the bench, and then his defense late there to seal that win right there, I mean, right there, that's the unsung hero of this game.
Yeah, that trade for Jonathan Kuminga was as good as it could be, especially for the Hawks, and bad for the Golden State Warriors. With Jimmy Butler being out, who knows what could have happened in that game against Phoenix in the play-in. Maybe if Jonathan Kuminga was in uniform, he could have helped, especially when Steph Curry is struggling. But he was a terrific pickup. This Atlanta Hawks team is as good as they've looked since Nate McMillan was unceremoniously dismissed from this team. They're playing great. But Hakeem, here's the major storyline for this game. You want me to give it to you?
Yeah, I think I know what it is, but go for it.
Because you and I are friends, right?
Yes, sir.
When you look at Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges, okay?
Yeah.
Both of these guys' combined salary is about $40 to $45 million. You know how many points they scored combined tonight?
Yep.
2.
Yeah.
You know how many draft picks the Knicks gave up for Mikal Bridges? 5 or 6? And he was scoreless. And Josh Hart was 1 for 9. If I'm sitting there as a coach, as much as I'm thinking about Jalen Brunson and how we could have gotten a better shot for him at the end, we think about these things as coaches. I'm thinking more about these 2 guys who's sucking up a large number of my salary cap that's in the starting lineup, and I'm getting little to no production. At my age right now, I can score 2 points in an NBA playoff game.
Yeah,
So
Josh
I
Hart and
think
Mikal
that's going to be a
Bridges were
big
1 of
factor.
12. 1 of 12.
Yes, they were a combined 1 of 12.
Yeah, but
I,
also, too, and I get Mike Brown with the idea of resting Brunson and Towns to begin the fourth quarter, but every bucket counts. They were down by as many as 18 in the first half, down by as many as 11 in the fourth quarter, 7:30 to play. You need those guys on the floor because if you're talking about Hart and Bridges who don't have it, you need the guys that do. You saw Miles McBride, Deuce McBride hit some big buckets there, but you need those other role players to step up, like you said.
yeah, because what happens with these NBA coaches in this new era of basketball is about analytics. So if they take a guy out every game at a certain time, independent of the score, that's what the analytics say. Well, we got to go back with the feel. Or what are you seeing on the court with your natural eyes? Maybe the analytics, we can throw that out the door because analytics is a tool, is not the tool. And sometimes you got to go with your gut feeling and keep your best players on the floor, independent of what you normally like to do, especially in the regular season.
What's the panic meter and what are the adjustments the Knicks have to make? Because, of course, in Game 2, they blew a fourth quarter lead. They were up by 12 points. They blew a 12-point fourth quarter lead. Now they lose another one, back-to-back losses by 1 point. What's the concern level and the panic meter here? Because, really, the Knicks should be up 2-1. Instead, they're down 2-1.
Well, the panic meter, Mikal Bridges, do you change your rotation? You bring him off the bench? You got to do something. Jordan Clarkson, do you give him a little bit more playing time? Landry Shamet, whatever it is, you got to do something because when you're getting little to no production from those guys, you got to change your rotation up, a little bit and maybe play through Anunoby a little, some more, especially when he's on the box. Make CJ McCollum. He's not very good defensively. Get him more involved, slow him down, not just on the offensive end, but on the defensive end.
Well, it's not good news for the Knicks, Avery. The Knicks have lost 5 straight series when trailing 2-1. Got to snap that streak, try to even it up on Saturday. Game 4 back in Atlanta. Avery Johnson here with us on CBS Sports HQ. Avery, thank you. Back-to-back losses by 1 point. The Knicks, just the 4th team in NBA playoff history to lose back-to-back games by 1 point. And look, that Game 2 loss was self-inflicted. They had a 12-point fourth quarter lead. They blew that. It was tied for the largest blown lead entering the fourth quarter in franchise playoff history. The other time is the choke game in 1994 against Reggie Miller and the Pacers. Here, it's C.J. McCollum and the Hawks that once again get the final bucket in the final seconds, and the Knicks cannot get off a shot at the end, and now they find themselves down 2-1.